Hi guys. So this is the hotshot founder who's going to talk to you about the term sheet that all of you have been waiting for. Hi guys, that's me. Sorry, I've not been able to join you today. And yes, Anand tricked all of you into this. I am the hotshot founder of the startup that's going to talk to you about the relevance of term sheet today. Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not. I would not be able to join you guys that are heading out to Zaras today. But I would definitely like to add my 2 cents here. Because I've gone through now, I've at least started discussing term sheets with a couple of investors now. So I'm not an expert for sure, but I'm just trying to sort of understand most of the things that are very, very relevant from a term sheet perspective. What I've realized from my understanding of a term sheet is that it's a simple document. It's typically not a very legal sort of a document. Firstly, and it's typically a document that says that the investor is actually going to invest so much into the company, and typically because of bad incidents that have happened to investors, it's an investor's way of trying to make sure that the money he's putting into the company is protected from all angles. So the term sheet will have a lot of clauses that very clearly that in a way, sort of specify that you are going to work specifically only for, the company per se, and not be doing anything else. And that, and that you will have to allocate, ESOPs, for companies. And that's something that, the investor expects you to do. The other important thing that they would actually sort of stress on is that there are certain, there are clauses that are involved in the term sheet as well. So, okay, now that I've run through a very small set of, a preview to the term sheet, let me actually sort of explain, a little more in detail each of these aspects. Firstly, the most important thing in the term sheet is one, it talks about financing. Very specifically, it talks about what is the amount of money that the investor is trying to invest. What's the valuation that he's investing in it? Typically, they indicate a pre-money valuation in the document. Pre-money meaning the valuation that you are thinking of minus what the investor will put. So that's typically pre-money valuation. That will be very specifically documented. It will also very specifically mention the board composition. So this will involve the investor actually asking you for one or two board positions based on how many people you have on the board at that point of time. It will also indicate the respective shares of all of these people. The other thing, important thing here will actually be ESOPs, because without ESOPs you will not be able to attract enough talent that is actually required to get your company going. So when the investor is actually coming in, they will expect you to have apportioned this specific amount of equity to for ESOPs very specifically. And so when you've done that, it basically means your company is fully diluted. That's the terminology. So a full dilution when the investor comes in basically means this. So this means everybody who has shares in the company dilutes appropriately. In proportion. So that's one of the major clauses that they do. The other important thing that they also stress on is they make sure that even in future the business is not jeopardized because you have become lethargic, or there are certain miscreants in the system who would like to sell out, or not sell off their shares and things like that. So this brings along with it quite a number of other terminologies as well. One, there's something called a founders agreement that they enter into. So this founders agreement is something that very clearly says, we expect you to be full time in this company. There have been experiences of people running away after money has been invested. So investors are wary. So they basically say, sometimes strict investors say you vest your own stake over a period of 2 or 3 years, so that they're very, very sure that your entire concentration is on the business. Sometimes that happens, not always. That's one thing. The other thing is they basically this introduces some clauses called tag along and drag along. So this basically means if the investor wants to take a decision, or the the majority of the board wants to make a decision, there should not be shareholders with minuscule holdings who will jeopardize the future of the company, even though the board has decided to go ahead. So as a result of this, everybody sort of signs a tag along or a drag along clause. So this basically means if the board decides to sell the company, or sort of do a major investment decision, more than 50%, when there is an agreement of more than 50% of the board, it basically means everybody else tags on to that decision, whatever the decision may be. So this is in effect what tag along or drag along are. This is primarily to make sure that the right decision is actually taken. So this is what a tag along or drag along clause is. Now there are also clauses that talk about future investments that come into the company, future investments or a future potential sale. Now when it comes to future investment, typically there's something that's called the right of first refusal. That's a clause that's there. Now what is this right of first refusal? See, this is the investor who's actually believed in you as a person and he's put in the money. So it makes all the more sense that he gets to choose if he wants to invest in the next round. It gives him the power to actually do that at an agreed valuation that you have agreed with the other party. Imagine you an angel investor, maybe Naru is invested in you guys. There's Axel that's coming in and that says, I'm giving you a $5 million valuation. Now Naru, if there was the right of first refusal clause, Naru can come back to you and say, I do not want Axel in this round. These are the reasons, and I will be giving you the money at the same valuation that Axel is giving you at. So this is what the right of first refusal is. The other clause that I mentioned to you, apart from the right of first refusal, is about when typically when the